Psych-WARD Diaries, Number 9. Over the years working on the ward, I've come across the entire spectrum of psychosis. Very little surprises me now. Even with that, there are still some patients that stick out in my mind. There's the guy who decided to go down the hallway putting his head through every picture on the wall. He even managed to put his head through the glass box that holds the fire extinguisher. It's why the walls are so insanely bare to this day. There's also the devout religious woman suffering from schizophrenia, who shouts prayers of death upon her roommate every night. We've had to change out our roommate 3 times already. But there was one patient who stood out, not for what he did inside the hospital, but for what he did outside. His name was Leon. He was a middleweight boxer from Chicago. He had an undiagnosed medical condition before his boxing career began. The repeated concussions from his fights exacerbated that condition. He spiraled down, was introduced to methamphetamines, and contracted HIV intravenously. I always liked him because he had an exaggerated pimp walk and called me things like young playa and slim. We also bonded over being from the Midwest. Him, Chicago. Me, Detroit. Now, to understand the story fully, we have to go back about 2 months. I was on the ward in the middle of a physical fight with a Mongo. He was a 6'4", 300-pound psychopath with murder in his eye. He had one eye, and that one eye was cross-eyed. A thick layer of black curly hair draped his back like a rug, and his large, swollen hands looked like they belonged to Wreck-It Ralph. This Mongo had suddenly attacked a female patient. I rushed in to save her. When I did, the Mongo's wrath turned towards me. I realized an effective show of force was necessary. In defense, I pinned him against the wall where I unloaded a volley of fists and elbows until he stopped his attack. Another nurse soon rushed in to administer a B-52 shot to put him out. During this time, Leon had been a few feet away watching the entire thing. His fists were clenched, his eyes were wild, and he was breathing heavy. He stood there like a statue. After the Mongo had been subdued and carried off to his room, Leon approached me and said, "I was waiting to see if you needed my help. I don't like people messing with you. You want me to do something to him? I'll do it. I'll get him for you." Sensing the tension rising in him, I tried to play it off like it was no big deal. "Nah, it's okay, man. I had it under control. She's good. I'm good. It's all good." Leon was still pissed. "Nah, Slim, that ain't right. He put his hands on you, and we don't play that shit." I said, "Nah, this is a hospital. I want everyone here to get better." Then jokingly I said, "But I got a bag of Skittles for anyone that get him on the outside." We both laughed as I redirected him back to his room. Fast forward 2 months later, and Leon is back on the ward. He got picked up for walking naked through the Walmart and looking for his girlfriend, Rihanna. He sees me from down the hall. He pimp walked over to me, and I could tell that he was really excited about something. He said, "Sup, young playa?" Then he whispered, "I got something to tell you later." The duper's delight smile that swept across his face made me suspicious. I couldn't imagine what he meant since I hadn't seen him in so long. I got my answer when he stopped me in the hallway on my way to lunch. He smiled and said, "I like tropical." Confused, I said, "What?" Then he said, "You said if somebody got him on the outside, you give him Skittles. I like tropical." My eyes got big, my face went flush, my mouth hung open. Questioning my ethics, I said, "Okay, wait here." I immediately left the floor and bought the largest bag of Skittles I could find. I handed them over and told him to never speak of this again. He agreed and kept his promise, sort of. But every time I see him now, He gives me a devilish smile and says, "Tropical." I know the other staff have seen him do this. He's not subtle. Luckily, in a place where people hear voices in their heads and play with their own feces, no one bats an eye. I guess, in the end, the lesson I learned was, never make a deal with the demented. Hey everybody, this is Creflo Penny, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. If you like this and you want to hear more, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Take care and have a great day.